Good evening, welcome back. So we're about to wrap this thing up as far as getting it done. Yeah, I can't think of anything else other than the electronics. So let's take a quick look what we got going on here. So I'm probably going to solder them up in another video or do it after this video, but so far here's what we got going on. I have all my wires pre-cut. My pickups are labeled. These wires I will label as I pull them out. So all you need is a little bit of tape here just to keep things in order while you're going. So over here is what we're going to do. This is a 50s wiring schematic right here. So basically we're going to use all the vintage pushback wiring. Obviously, you just seen that here. I did not have to use any cloth pushback wiring, no grounding wiring, no solid wire in this application because we are using the grounding plate. So little word of advice, if you're using a grounding plate, always get it set into your guitar cavity the way it fits the best, because you can get it in there the other way, but the pots aren't going to sit in there right. So if you do that, you can put yourself a little tiny mark right there indicating that the three-way switch is that way, and that's the way the pots need to go in it. And then you can bring it over here, you have a little printout like that, and to make it a little more self-explanatory, you can put neck and bridge on here. Same with the neck volume, tone volume, right? So forth. If you're not using the grounding plate, you can do something like this, where you use a little board. Now I got this from Emerson. Came with some bumblebee caps and pre-wired three-way switch, and the jack was just strapped onto here with a lead wire. Anyways, long story short, you can use a bread tie and reuse these, or just make your own out of a cardboard template and just cut them out of a little piece of 1/4-inch wood or something. But anyways, you put your pots on here, and then like this one came out of this build here. This is what I took out of here. So I didn't do this soldering, but I'm using this as an example. So if you don't have a grounding plate, you can do something like this. You could even use a piece of cardboard for all that matters. So you get all your wires and stuff soldered up on that, and then a lot of people will use a wire to contact all the pots. Some people use like this here, and then some people will use a solid wire that's hard, it's not flexible, it's not a strand. Either way you do it is no big deal, as long as you get everything grounded the way it should be. And then this is the three-way switch that came out of it, and I did cut it off, but I did it in a manner where if I want to reuse this, I can very easily put it back on because I cut it so close. But anyhow, this one I gotta figure out because I got 3 leads on each side instead of 3 and 2. I'm sure it won't be that hard to figure out, but yeah, that's the next thing I gotta do is solder these 3 wires here to the three-way switch, and then I'll feed all that stuff back down through. And then after that, we will get the input jack soldered in. The way that this is wired, the shielded wire is going to go here, and then the ground wire will just solder to that. So that will go in last. I'll take this off of the plate, and I'll do all the soldering to the pots and stuff, final solderings in here into this jack in here, because then I can already have the three-way switch fed in and installed. So just a couple tips there. The other thing too that I've done, let's see, get this out of the way here. I've already went through with the multimeters and I matched all the pots the best that I could. These are the closest ones that I had, all 300K leaner tapers. So I figured the higher value ones I'll use as the volumes, and the lower volume, I can't even speak. Anyhow, the lower value numbers I will use as the tones. So I got two 264s right on the nose, and I got a 291 and a 280. I was going to record doing all that, but you know what? I'll put down in the description below here, I'll put 2 videos that are really good about the pots and testing them and all that, and you'll dig them. So check out the description below. I'll just put those links in there. He's going to explain it a lot better than I am. They got little diagrams and everything. So anyways, here's a set of CTS 500Ks that once upon a time I was starting to build this very setup for a different guitar that ended up selling before I even got done or got to really do anything to it. So anyways, this is the setup that we're going with. Now on here they got 500K pots and 0.022 microfarad capacitors. So I'm not running that route, but I'm going to wire it this route. So my next dilemma is, oh, I forgot to tell you too, when you're before you wire in your input jack, make sure you slide a sleeve of shrink tubing. I keep a bunch of it on hand, but that will keep it from bumping any positives or anything like that and grounding out and shorting out. So just always make sure you slide that on before you solder it. If not, you're not going to get it on. So just a little FYI there, trying to give a little few tips. Maybe what I'll do is I'll hyperlapse video of soldering it, because it's going to take me a while. I'm no pro, but I solder pretty good, better than that. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to look like that. I'll have to open up my my 50s gold top and show you my solder jobs, because yeah, right there, the 50s gold top. My solder jobs turn out pretty good. So anyhow, my next dilemma is, like we were just looking at this paper, they got 500K pots. I'm using 300K linear tapers. They also got 0.022 microfarads. So here's my dilemma. What capacitor should I use? So in a Mallory, I have a 0.01 in a navy, a 0.01 in another blue drop, a 0.022 in the orange drop, and a 0.033 in a brown drop. And then down here, I salvaged these out of a vintage 1960s Les Paul copy. And I looked them up, and they're actually really good capacitors. So they are vintage. I don't know. I just figured I'd throw those out there. They're a 0.047. And then I got these vintage, I cannot speak tonight, vintage 1960s disc 0.02s. Those are vintage old stock. They haven't been used. None of these have been used except for these. I salvaged those. So, and I do have a whole bunch of other capacitors that I just don't care to use in the Gibson build. So, and I do have the all parts as well, but they're much larger, kind of like the navy drop. It's just a bigger capacitor, but it's the same exact value. They're both 0.022s. One's probably just got a higher voltage on it, which doesn't matter in a guitar. You could put big giant capacitors. Where's that one set go? If I wanted to, I could use these in a guitar. I kid you not. It's as long as you're the voltage don't matter. It's what it is. Like this is a 0.47, so that's all that would really matter on it, is the value of that, not the voltage, because you could use it in a guitar. You just take up a ton of space in your cavity cover. So anyhow, that's pretty much where we're at on a build right now. Oh, I almost forgot. Check this out. So I had the wife down here, and she was looking at things, and she told me to go ahead and go with, since I went with the vintage hardware and everything, and I didn't put the Clusons on, and I have the age pickups and everything, she said, instead of putting a brand new set on, just use the original set. So I'm going to do that. I'm still on the fence about the plain pick guard, the single ply, because it sure does look good on there. But the two did show up from Guitar Center today for the builds, and that's probably what I'm gonna go with, because the copper one, it has the 2-ply. This one's gonna look blinged out with the 2-ply. So I might as well just put the 2-ply on this build too. I do have an aged one that I'll throw on there and see if it looks any better before I open that. But they threw this in, and this is a pretty cool thing. So we have a volume mod for guitars. So if we wanted to, we could throw that volume mod in there on this or your guys' build. Again, let me know what you guys are thinking too on your capacitors, and if you guys are wanting 500K or 500K audio tapers or 300K linear tapers. And again, down in the link of the description, I'll put a couple videos, other people that explained it pretty well in the testing and stuff, so check those out. But here's your guys' build. So start to thinking about what capacitors, pots you guys want in yours, because I'm getting real close to being done with mine. I'd probably say another day or so. And I'm gonna have to get to building on your guys's, because foot surgery is coming up and I need to get these things done, because instead of worrying about getting them built when I'm laying in bed, I might actually get to try them out. So try to get them built and done and see if I can pick this up without dropping anything out of it. So there are the Seymor Duncan Antiquity pickups, ABR1 bridge, Nashville to ABR1 conversion kit, and just nice good old Gibson aged hardware. And then I put the Grover tuners on it, even though it was supposed to have the Kluson style, or Grover Deluxe Kluson style. So there we are. We're about ready to, I was almost strung it up today, but I figured now I'll wait. But we're getting really close. So just a few solder connections. And I think what I'll do is, like when I did the fretboard and the polish on this thing, I just did a time-lapse video, and that's probably what I'll do with the soldering, because I'm not a professional and I'm not a Speedy Gonzalez or Roadrunner, so I'll just time-lapse it and it'll condense it down just in a few seconds, and then maybe I'll attach it to an end of video, or I'll just do like I did with the polish video, whatever. But I think it's going to go on too long to do all that on film, so I'll just hyperlapse it. But let me know your comments down below. Let's look at these one more time here. So again, 300K linear tapers. We're going Gibson. Your guys' pots are Gibson too if you pick either or, 500K or 300K. I got all Gibson. So down here, again, 0.033 brown drop, 0.022 orange drop, 0.01 blue drop, 0.01 navy drop, 0.02 vintage disc, or a 0.047 vintage. And where is the box for... This is the Antiquity. I have the box for the bridge pickup only. I bought the other one on Reverb. There's the screws. Well, they have a wiring diagram in here too, so maybe we'll see if that's the same. It looks like it pretty much is. Yep. All right, a little sticker, some screws. Well, shoot. Oh, here it is. Here's the bridge. So we have a, what did they scribble out? Looks like somebody wrote on that. 8.45K is on the bridge. And, oop, there goes the screws. I'm having a hard time with them screws. They go to the jack plate. This one is 7.58. So that's what we have for the neck and bridge on the pickups. So if that helps you guys help me any, I'd like to know which one here should I use. So let me know. If not, I'm just gonna grab the prettiest one. I think it looks good in there, I guess. What else do you do? So I guess I could do some more studying, but this looks like it's some kind of treble bleed or something, is what I think that is. I've never really messed around with the twisting different capacitors together and bridging them and stuff and running them parallel and in series, and I just go from pot to pot. I'm the basic kind of guy, but I'll figure more out. We'll learn some more here. That's what it's all about. You gotta suck before you're good, right? So I guess I'll just enjoy sucking for a minute. We'll see how this turns out. Until then, guys, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you comment down below.